Okay, I guess I'm live. I have never done one of these things before, so y'all will have to bear with me as far as figuring out how anything works. So it looks like we've got 5 people watching, and I'm assuming y'all can hear me. And okay, so that's the like button there. 8 people watching. Okay. So this is a lot easier than I expected. All right. So the comments pop up there. All right. So this is just Instagram. This is just like an Instagram live stream. That's what this is. Jacob says he stopped studying for his art test for this. Well, you know, I mean, this is in a way the greatest art of all, if you want to talk about it that way. Hey guys. Yes, I am procrastinating too. Yes, I should, like, I've got so much homework to be doing right now, but I don't know, I kind of wanted to do one of these for a while and figured it's Sunday night, people probably are free, maybe this is a nice time to do it, you know. Hey, Evan, what's up? Yes, the color grading. Oh, thanks for, yeah, Long Box Breakup. I guess you could say this is the greatest show. Yeah. I know I need to be doing homework, but homework is for the week. Yes. You're in England. Well, that's where I would want to be. I mean, come on. I was actually I was at a conference in LA this weekend, which is not a normal thing for me. That sounds very prestigious, but that was like a once a year thing. But I was at a conference and somebody was telling me that it is a lot cheaper to go to college in Britain or the UK in general than it is to go to college in America. And I'm sure there's like exceptions and I'm sure there's more to the story than that. But like as a person who wants to travel to Europe and loves British culture, like I've been looking at a lot of film schools in Britain to see what kind of the rates would be and what kind of people have been to those schools, you know. So it could be super cool. Favorite anime? I have never really watched any anime, honestly. That's never been a thing that has interested me. And I know I really need to give it a shot. The only anime I've really watched is like the Secret World of Arrietty movie and the Ponyo movie. So like Studio Ghibli stuff. But I know I really need to get on that someday. What school do you go to in Britain, Jake? I really want to know. Because I've been looking at a lot of stuff. I've been looking at LFTS, London Film and Television School, and that looks pretty great. 55 viewers, wow. I know, I need to watch Studio Ghibli. Yes, I saw The Greatest Showman. It's lackluster, but I enjoyed it. That's what I would have to say about that. Someone asked how I affix these Blu-rays to the wall. They are Velcro. And what's hilarious is that, like, in the middle of the night, some of them will fall off the wall. So, like, they look really cool right now and really, like, awesome and whatever. But, no, like, they're pretty insecure. And I think it depends on the humidity in the room, oddly. So, like, on days where it's very hot outside, the Blu-rays will start to fall off the walls because I think it makes them moist or something. Because the sticker just doesn't hold it up all the time. Usually it's fine. Like these haven't fallen off in a while, but like the ones over there have been recently put up and they like are continuously falling every day. And so I have to constantly put them back. But it's worth it. It's worth it for the cool factor. It's worth it for the visual look of my room. I don't know. Any thoughts on film aesthetics? What do you mean by aesthetics? Do you mean like the visual style or what's your question on that? What's the funniest movie I've seen? You know, okay, so let me show you. Let me show you all this. So I watched this movie recently. It's called American Movie. I guess is the text flipped for y'all? I don't know, but it's called American Movie, and it is a documentary about the making of this lackluster film from these 2 guys in Milwaukee. And it's very much like an OG disaster artist type thing, because it's like, you know, this crazy character of a guy is making a bad movie, although it's not as bad as The Room, honestly. But so the difference between this and the disaster artist is that, one, the disaster artist is actors reenacting what happened, but this is a documentary. And honestly, it was so hilarious and so, like, ridiculous that, like, the movie started and for the first 5 minutes in, I was like, is this a mockumentary? Like, or is this like a joke? Are they reenacting something to make it seem funny? Are these actors paid to reenact it? But no, they're real people. And so it is hilarious because these are like real characters, real people who are really making this movie. And it's basically like, I mean, they're these quirky, like, it's like if Napoleon Dynamite was a real person and he was making a movie. That's what this movie is. So this is all an answer to the question, what is the funniest movie I've ever seen? And it's this, honestly. I think it is hilarious. So y'all really need to give it a watch. I think it's on iTunes. Yes, it's all right. It's okay. There's something to live for. That's a quote from this. That's their oh hi mark. Because this film also features a scene where a character has to go through a line like 30 times to get it right. Like, it's very much the OG Disaster Artist, except it's real. And so it's great. Now I'm going to look at y'all's stuff you keep asking. Sorry, I'm missing so many of your questions. They're going by so fast. Have I seen Primer? Yes, I need to watch that. So I haven't seen that. But being like a massive time travel fan, I have been wanting to watch that for quite some time. Because I've heard it gives like the most logical depiction of time travel in a movie. So that's something that really intrigues me. Because I love time travel theory and everything involved in it. Up till now, my favorite depiction of time travel in a movie has to still be Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Just because they do the whole loop thing, the predestination sort of theory, the best I've seen it done, and it makes sense. So yeah, if y'all want to repeat some of your questions, that's fine, because I'm missing several of them. If you want to like type them again, I don't know. What's your favorite movie? I think y'all know it's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. That's obviously not the best movie. In fact, it's far from the best movie, but that's the movie that speaks to me the most. That's the movie that really I connect with the most. That I identify with the main character the most. What Criterion Blu-rays do you own? Not many, but I do own, this is great. Like, I love this Blu-ray. This is the only Criterion Blu-ray that I own, and it is Moonrise Kingdom. And I'm planning on buying Frances Ha as well, because that's got a great Criterion Blu-ray I've seen that I want to watch soon. Someone asked, is the is the Long Box Breakup commentary coming soon? And yes, but I'm not sure if I'm going to just do it for patrons. In fact, I think I'm going to just put it up for patrons on Patreon for a little while, so maybe a few weeks, and then it will come to the channel eventually. And just check on my Twitter, because I'll probably announce it there the earliest. What do I think deserves to win Best Picture this year, doesn't have to be nominated? Okay. Out of the nominated movies, I think the movie that deserves Best Picture... Oh, man, this is harder than I thought. Okay, I'll put it this way. Get Out is the movie I'm rooting for Best Picture. It doesn't deserve to win, but it would be the movie that if it did win, I would be like, oh, good, yeah, good job, Get Out, awesome. Even though it didn't deserve it, I would be happy to see it win, if that makes sense. The movie that deserves to win, I think, is a toss-up between 3 Billboards and Phantom Thread. But that's bearing in mind that I have not seen Call Me By Your Name or Darkest Hour yet. Now, if we're talking about movies that weren't nominated, then I've got to say Blade Runner 2049. I mean, right there. I absolutely adored it. And, I mean, y'all know, like, if you follow me on Twitter or anything, I rant about it all the time, because it is phenomenal. And it's a crime that wasn't nominated. But I can't say, like, when the Oscars were announced, when the nominees were announced last week, I knew it wasn't going to get nominated. Some people were like, I'm enraged that it wasn't nominated. You know, how dare they? And I'm like, no, we'd known for a few months that it wasn't going to get nominated, because it wasn't in any of the other award shows or anything. So I wasn't shocked at all. But it's, you know, it still deserves it. And if I had been expecting it to be nominated, I would be shocked and I would be angry, because it's phenomenal. Favorite director, I could never narrow that down. Some of them would be Edgar Wright, as you know, from Long Box Breakup, Wes Anderson. Steven Spielberg is an easy one. I mean, come on. who else? Brad Bird is not like one of the greatest directors of all time, but I think he's done a lot more great stuff than people let on. And then I feel like I'm snubbing like a lot of people here. Denis Villeneuve is a great one. Yeah, Francois. Yeah. I can't remember the director of Amelie is one of my favorites, but I'm trying to remember his name. And yes, I have seen The Florida Project. It's okay. I've got mixed feelings about it. One person is asking repeatedly, what's my favorite MCU movie? And I would have to go with The Winter Soldier. I mean, that's kind of the obvious choice, but that's the one I would have to go with. Although, probably the movie that I've rewatched the most is Spider-Man Homecoming. Even though it's new, I've rewatched it the most because it's great. But yeah. How you liking this Georgia weather? Oh, man. Dude, I was just telling Drew yesterday, everything in Georgia is crazy. Like, it's either we get crazy snow out all of a sudden, or we get, like, summer in the wintertime. It's just bizarre. Yeah, Georgia weather is insane. Someone says they feel as if George Lucas is the most influential director. That's a fair statement. I mean, I was watching a documentary a few weeks ago and finding out that, like, Pixar wouldn't exist if George Lucas hadn't been around. I mean, that's, like, a big deal, you know? Someone said favorite show, and I could never narrow down my favorite TV show. But, like, Stranger Things, Sherlock, although the last season of Sherlock is very bad. I like Parks and Rec more than The Office. That's a fun detail. Although I haven't watched all of The Office, so I can't really, you know. A few others. Freaks and Geeks. That's a great one. Drew made me watch that a few weeks ago, and a few months ago, and I adored Freaks and Geeks. That was so great. Favorite Wes Anderson film, it's Moonrise Kingdom. I adore Moonrise Kingdom, as we've seen. Favorite Paul Thomas Anderson movie? I have not watched enough Paul Thomas Anderson movies to say, but that's kind of my top priority right now, because I saw Phantom Thread a few days ago, or I guess it was day before yesterday, and I adored it. I thought it was phenomenal, and y'all really need to see it, because it is totally, it's the first movie in quite some time that, like, I've just been completely engulfed in the film. Like, everything around me in the movie theater fell away, and I was, like, completely engrossed in the film and was not distracted or thinking about other things. Because usually, even with the best movies, I'm ADD, so, like, my brain goes off on tangents even during my favorite movies. But, like, with Phantom Thread, there was a point halfway through the movie where I was like, hang on, I haven't thought about anything else but this movie this whole time. Wow, my ADD subsided. And I think that's the sign of, like, a masterpiece, because I was just engaged throughout the whole thing, even though the plot is so mundane and so small, but it really, really engaged me the whole time. So yes, Paul Thomas Anderson movies are my priority at this point to go back and watch, as well as Kurosawa. I would like to get into some Kurosawa soon. Dudu asked what my favorite MCU movie was, is asking what I think of Guardians 2. I love Guardians 2. I think it is Marvel's most underrated movie, probably. I think it's their most character-driven film. I think the pacing's a bit off, but the character-driven aspect really makes up for that. And it's, yeah. Tarantino or Nolan? I don't want to make a decision on that. I don't want to make a call. Although Pulp Fiction, I would have to say Tarantino. What kind of movie would you like to direct? That is a great question. I don't think I would ever say, like, a specific genre that I would want to direct. Like, I want to direct superhero movies, or I want to direct thrillers, you know. But some movies, the movies that have inspired me the most after watching them, to be like, I want to make something like that, have been Walter Mitty, Francis Ha, Room, Sing Street, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and even to a degree, Napoleon Dynamite and Guardians of the Galaxy. So the pattern with most of those, except Guardians of the Galaxy, is that they're moderate budget films, but not big budget ones. They focus mainly on character. Lots of them kind of feature angsty teen drama, but it's sort of endearing and comedic, like Napoleon Dynamite and Sing Street. And I'm sure my tastes and the stuff that I want to make will definitely change over the years. So I don't, I would never put myself in a box that way. But also, it's cool to see what inspires you at this point and how that will influence you later on down the line. More questions about my favorite anime. I'm telling you guys, I'm not an anime person. I can't say. Opinion on the Punisher show. I haven't watched The Punisher. That is the only Marvel show I haven't watched. What do you have more respect for? Okay, so that comment just went by too fast, but you were asking what do I have more respect for, Batman v Superman or Spider-Man Homecoming, I think is what the question was. And that may be in response to something that I tweeted recently, which is that Wonder Woman is a better film than Batman v Superman. I mean, it's a more cohesive film. But I have more respect for Batman v Superman than I do for Wonder Woman, because I admire its ambition more than I admire the ambition of Wonder Woman. I admire what it was trying to do. Even though I think it fails, I think it really had a lot better intentions and more that it was attempting to do, which is why I respect it more. And I do think the vision that Zack Snyder had wasn't a bad one. It was a pretty great idea. It just didn't pan out, and he doesn't know how to write people, to me. What edition of Walter Mitty do you own on Blu-ray? I think there's only one edition that I own, although it did come with the CD, which is cool. It came with the soundtrack on CD, so I don't know if that means it's a different edition. Will Logan win Best Adapted Screenplay? I hope so. I would have to go back and look at the nominees to see whether I think it should, because right now I would say it should, but I might be overlooking something. I think it definitely deserves it more than something like The Disaster Artist. I didn't think The Disaster Artist was very well written, especially compared to the book. What movie do you hate the most? I don't like to say that I hate movies, because that's kind of an insult to the, but maybe Suicide Squad? Just, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of an easy shot to take. But I can't, I still think that there were people working hard on that movie who were enjoying making it and who wanted it to be good. So I don't really feel comfortable even saying that I hate that, But it is. I think it's quite bad. How do you fix the DCEU? I think you put a better visionary behind the helm. The DCEU needs their Kevin Feige, who's going to steer the ship and make a more of a game plan for how this universe is going to pan out, and prioritize making one good film at a time before you try and do this whole crazy expansive universe thing. See, that's why I'm more excited for that Batman solo movie, supposedly going to be directed by Matt Reeves, because the idea, hopefully, is that it won't be connected to the outside universe nearly as much, and it will just be a movie that's focused on making one singular good movie. And Matt Reeves is a great director, so that's why that sounds intriguing to me. Someone said, what's the scariest movie you've ever seen? I might have to go with, I think I've seen scarier things, but like the scariest theater experience I've ever had is probably 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is why I love that film so much. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time with that. That was phenomenal. Best Star Wars movie is The Empire Strikes Back. I don't think you can ever say any different, although I do love The Last Jedi. Have you seen Good Time? Okay, that's a good question, because it is actually, or this is out of frame, I guess, but I have it on my wall back there. I bought the Blu-ray, and I haven't had time to watch it yet. So I have plans to watch that very soon. I guess I have time to live stream, though, but not watch the movie. What career am I aiming for? This is something that has been kind of bugging me a lot recently. And I'm only 17, so like, you know, I don't have to 100% make that decision yet. And I don't feel like I should. I feel like I should sort of, you know, let things develop and see where life goes. But right now it's definitely between filmmaker or film critic. And that's really the decision that I'm really more intrigued by, because I do think, I mean, I really, really enjoy writing film essays and writing film reviews, and even journalism in general I enjoy. But I also enjoy making films, and really, you know, having made Longbox has really inspired me to attempt to do more filmmaking and write more short films. And so I'm kind of in between on both. Maybe I'll end up doing both at the same time, although it is, see, that's my biggest reservation about being a filmmaker and being heavily involved in Hollywood, is that once you become a filmmaker, unless you're like Ridley Scott, you really can't have opinions anymore, if that makes sense. Because like, once you become a filmmaker, if you start going off on how bad some movie was, you're going to piss off all these people who will not want to work with you. You know, you're gonna make enemies. And so you really have to like everything and be reserved and be, you know, moderate on all your opinions, at least publicly. I mean, you can think whatever you want privately, which I don't know if I could do, because I'm so opinionated at times, for better or worse, often for worse. That like, if I was a director and I had to please everyone and make sure I wasn't offending anyone with my opinions, I don't know what I would do, if I would go insane. But, you know, maybe it's the price you pay to be able to make great art, and that's okay, you know. I do feel like I would be happier making art than I would be touting off opinions and saying how things are bad, you know. Because that's sort of that's the reputation that film critics have sometimes, is that they can criticize art and they really just throw criticism at it, but they can't really make any art themselves, you know, which is sometimes true. And so I don't want to be that way. I want to be influential in some way on both sides. What are your thoughts on A Ghost Story? Love it. It's great. Really, really loved it. That's on my top 10 of the year, actually. Joel is asking about Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. That movie was my childhood. That's all I have to say. Iron Man 3, it has a nice twist, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So he's been, the dude who asked about my MCU favorite has been asking what I think about Iron Man 3. I like Iron Man 3 a lot. I don't think it's the best of the MCU. I don't think it's the best Iron Man film. But when I saw it, back when I was like 13 years old, I adored it. And then I went back and rewatched it recently, and I was like, no, yeah, this still holds up. I think it's not a great superhero movie. And it's a very unique Iron Man movie. But it's a great comedy. It's a great Shane Black kind of buddy comedy, and it's got real style. I like the Mandarin twist even. I totally get it if people don't like that twist. I totally get it. But I thought it was funny when I found out. Like, I didn't have any expectations about it. So that was why I was okay with it. But I get it. I think it's a pretty good character study of Tony Stark as well. I think it's a cool evolution of his character and him having to learn to work without the Iron Man suit. I think that was a fun arc, even though it kind of is reversed in later movies. Like, they forget that arc happened. But I think on its own, Iron Man 3 is a fun movie. I think it's a good buddy cop kind of comedy. It's not the best of the MCU, but it's good. Yeah. What did you think of Wind River? Haven't watched it yet, man. I know. I bought it on iTunes a few days ago, and I have a bit to watch. I've got a lot of things. I also bought that movie Columbus, which was only like $10 on iTunes, so I bought that. And I actually started it and watched the first 10 minutes on the plane, going back from LA. But then I was like, no, this has to be experienced on a bigger screen. So I've been holding out on that. And then I've had so much homework after that that I just haven't had time to do anything. Rank Pixar? Let's see. Have you watched Marvel's Infinity War trailer? This comment keeps popping up, so I should probably answer it. Yes, I mean, of course I have. But it's great. Yes, I agree. You said you're hyped for it, and I am as well. I'm very hyped. Very hyped for Infinity War. I hope it's not an overload. I hope it's not Age of Ultron over again. Please, please, God. Somebody said rank Pixar, and I'm not going to do that because there are too many movies, but I will say I think the best Pixar movies are The Incredibles, probably Up, although Up isn't as good in the middle half as it is, or in the kind of latter half as it is in the first half. But still, Up is up there. And Toy Story. Toy Story, I feel like the Toy Story brand has become so huge that people forget that actually the first Toy Story movie is kind of a masterpiece. Like, it is a brilliant character study. It's so well written. So yeah, I think Toy Story, Incredibles, and Up are my favorites, at least. I also think Monsters University is underrated. It's not the best, but it's underrated, at least. I do agree that Toy Story 3 is a little overrated, but that said, I cry at the end of it either way, so it's gotta be good to some degree. Or manipulative, or emotionally manipulative, but either way, it made me cry. WALL-E, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah, so someone just brought up WALL-E. No, yeah, that's definitely up there with the best. I think it's amazing visual storytelling. Treasure Planet, yes, that's great. That's a great movie. What year level are you in? I'm 17 and I am in 11th grade. That's my thing. Hello from Alaska. Oh, cool. Well, hello, Alaska. Tell the whole country that I said hello. That's my request for you. Just make it your mission. My birthday is in May. Late May. Yes, I did see Karsten's new video essay on The Incredibles. Great video essay channel. Like, I can't recommend Karsten Runquist. He's my friend enough. He's got a pretty swiftly growing video essay channel called Karsten Runquist, called his name. And, I mean, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. What video games do you like? I am really not a video game person. I have never been a huge video game person, but, I mean, I've played a few. I enjoy Battlefront, even though I know that there's all that controversy about the paying to play kind of stuff, but I thought it was fun. I enjoy the Lego games. I enjoy Mario Kart, but see, like, this shows you what a novice I am with video games, and I'm, like, not hardcore at all. I just sometimes play for fun when I'm at someone's house or whatever. Wii Sports Resort is great. Yeah. Yeah. What is your philosophy on film criticism? That's a complicated question. And I think, to sum it up, I would say that there is some objectivity that people don't give film criticism credit for, and there is definitely some subjectivity. But I actually have a video I've been writing for a while where I'm going to sort of examine film criticism as a whole. So I'm going to save that for that. Someone asked if I watched Austin McConnell, and yes, I do. He is so inspirational. You also should check Austin McConnell out. His channel is so good. It's better than mine. I mean, for sure. It is great. Haven't seen the new Jumanji. Funny, everyone in my family has except me. But I went to go see The Post when they saw Jumanji. So, are there any less mainstream or smaller movies from 2017 you would recommend? Yes, definitely. I have to think of them all. And I think I made a list of this. One of them is Ingrid Goes West. That is a terrific movie. Maybe not terrific, but it's really good. Brigsby Bear was fun. I don't think it's a great film. Some people think it's a masterpiece. It's good. It's fun. What else? The Lost City of Z. That was a movie that I thought was totally overlooked, and it's really a good sort of classical adventure film, although it's very heavy at times. Beautifully shot. It's like a movie that you would take your grandma to or something, or grandpa. That's making me think. I can't remember. I've got a list on my computer. Someone asked if I watch Jenny Nicholson. Yes, I do. She is one of my favorites. Let me... I have a list here of movies that were sort of, you know, ones that are being overlooked. Okay, so my list of kind of hidden gems that I've seen this year consists of Brigsby Bear, that's what I said, Lost City of Z, Ingrid Goes West. Another one would be Okja. That's on Netflix. It's great. And then The Man Who Invented Christmas. That's a hilarious one. It looks and is kind of a generic biopic. But it's actually kind of beautifully shot and well acted, and the production design is great. So I consider it underrated. I enjoyed it. But it is kind of a basic choice. It's not some artistic masterpiece. Did you ever watch any Disney live action shows? Yeah, I watched Sweet Life. I watched Hannah Montana. I mean, didn't we all? I watched, can't even remember. So many of them are bad, and so many of them are awful now. But I loved Phineas and Ferb. I know that's not live action, but that was my favorite Disney show as a kid. Loved that. Yes, I like Doctor Who. Yeah, it's good. I know, people are telling me Good Time was so overlooked, and I'm sure it is. I can't wait to watch it when I get a chance. Yeah, Phineas and Ferb kind of formed me as a person, as a kid. Like, there were a few influences that, like, made me who I am, and I think Phineas and Ferb was one of them. Harry Potter was one of them. DC superheroes like Superman and Batman were one of them. Star Wars, to a degree. Those were kind of the things that formed me as a kid. Even Scooby-Doo was up there. I loved Scooby-Doo when I was a kid. But yeah, what do you think of Paddington 2? I was waiting for someone to ask me this. I'm so excited. I adore Paddington 2, okay? Can I just, like, get that off my chest, okay? Like, it is so delightful. I went and I was gonna see I, Tonya at the movie theater 2 weeks ago. And then I was like, you know what? And I had a friend of mine, Carson, who is also 17 and is this big, bulky football player. And I was like, all right, we need to go see something that he'll like. Like, we need to see, like, you know, 12 Strong or, like, something that seems manly. But then I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to ask him if he wants to see Paddington 2, because it's got 100%, and I loved the first one. And we did. And both of us loved it. And I cannot tell you how much I adored everything about it, from the production design, to the cast, to the effects, to the humor, to even the writing is clever. Like, there's a lot of great setups and payoffs. It's just a delightful film. And it's not like a masterpiece, but as far as kids' movies go, it is just terrific. Just fantastic. Who drew the avatar for my channel? That is a great question, because I want to highlight how great that person is. It's 97 Lego Maniac, and he's got a YouTube channel where he does Lego stuff. I knew him from Instagram and still know him, obviously. And at first he did all that art for me for free, and now I pay him whenever I want art from him, because it's so good. But, like, man, he was so generous with his time when I first asked about it about a couple years ago, and it's really served me pretty well. I can't thank him enough for that. Thoughts on Detroit? Haven't seen it. Favorite movies of 2017? Logan, Blade Runner 2049, 3 Billboards, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, Get Out. Don't know if you consider Paddington 2 a 2017 movie. Depends on if you live in the UK or America. But if that's 2017, Paddington 2. Loved Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I liked the Meyerowitz stories quite a bit. I feel like I'm missing some stuff. But yeah, this has been a great year. How long does it take you to make a video? Do you still experience dodgy copyright claims? How long it takes me to make a video really depends, because I am so ADD. Oh yeah, Logan Lucky. That's another great movie from 2017. I love Logan Lucky. But anyway, I am so ADD in terms of being distracted. That some days I will have an idea for a video and I will write the whole thing in about 2 days, and then I'll make it in like 8 hours. I will sit at my computer for 8 hours and make the whole video. Other times I can't focus that hard at once, and it will take me like a couple weeks to make one video. It really depends, because and then I'm busy with school and everything, so it really depends. I feel like I'm saying a lot. That's kind of my thing that I accidentally repeat all the time. And then you also asked about copyright. Yes, most of the videos still receive copyright claims, very unfortunately. But usually they're retracted within a couple days if I dispute them. So I'm kind of thankful for that. I mean, I've had pretty good luck, and I'm glad. I mean, yeah, it's not, I don't want to like blow it out of proportion, because the copyright stuff is annoying, but it's not like world ending, It's fine. Live and let live. I dispute it. It goes away in a couple days, and I mean, I'm good, I've got a roof over my head. Very luckily for me, YouTube is not the thing that is providing my meals every day. Because if it was, I would care a lot more about that copyright stuff. Have I seen Tron Legacy? Yes, I don't really have an opinion on it, but Drew Hitchcock, my co-host on Blackbusted, adores that movie. So you should talk to him, because, yeah, that's one of his favorite films. Thoughts on Molly's Game? I haven't seen that yet, but I've heard a lot of mixed things. What do you think about it? When did you get into film criticism? That's an interesting question. My YouTube channel kind of transitioned to film criticism around 2014 or so. But I've loved movies my whole life. And part of that's because movies kind of a big part of my family, and a big part of my dad's job, and a big part of who I am and who I was kind of raised to be. Like, I was raised on movies, kind of. And so I've really always been the movie person in my friend groups and everything, if that makes sense. But I didn't really get into like professional, for lack of a better word, film criticism until about 4 years ago or so. Someone's asking why I deleted all my old Lego videos, and I would like to clarify and say that they're not deleted. If you go on my YouTube channel, if you would like to rewatch any of my old videos, if you go on my YouTube channel, there is a playlist, and I think it's called like Classic HP1 or like Old HP1 videos, and all like 600 of my old Lego videos are there. They're just unlisted, and so I kind of unlisted them so that it wouldn't be overwhelming for someone new to the channel to get on there and be like, oh my gosh, I've missed so much or something, or feel like they have to catch up for some reason. But they are still viewable. So if you go on the channel, there's a playlist where you can view all of them. So that's, important little detail. Aardman Animation is great. I love Aardman Animation. That's another movie that I used to watch a lot as a kid. I mentioned Scooby-Doo. I used to watch a lot. I used to watch Wallace and Gromit, which is Aardman a lot. I loved Aardman as a kid. Most overrated MCU movie. I gotta go with Thor Ragnarok. Very much. I can't say I'm a big fan. I think there were a lot of really interesting directions to go with it, but they didn't go in any of them. So I was a little bit disappointed by Ragnarok. And I know, I mean, it's enjoyable, and I get that y'all really like it. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Ragnarok. I feel like it's a bit overrated. Someone asked, what's my favorite episode of Black Mirror? First of all, I love Black Mirror. When y'all asked about my favorite TV shows earlier, that's definitely one of them. I mean, I think it's brilliant storytelling, it's brilliant social commentary, it's brilliant short form storytelling, if that makes sense. Like, they pack so much into an hour, and most of them feature so much great acting and good writing. But what's my favorite episode? That's so hard to, like, I don't know. I love Nosedive, but I don't know if that's the best one. I I loved USS Callister, but it's probably not the best one either. What are the ones I'm not thinking of? San Junipero is great, but also maybe not the best one. I don't know. I'd have to look at a list. Entire History of You is really good. You know, one of my favorites might be Black Museum. That was the last episode of season 4, and I thought that was terrific. I really enjoyed Black Museum, because I think what was interesting about it was it took lots of the themes that are encapsulated in all of the Black Mirror episodes, like the theme of humanity needing someone to hate and needing to vilify that one person so they can sort of go on a witch hunt for them. That's a theme throughout Black Mirror, as well as several other things like immortality and obsession. All those themes that are spread out throughout all the other episodes are sort of encapsulated in that one episode, Black Museum. So I thought it was kind of brilliant in that respect. And like the thing with the teddy bear was so creative. Like, that's the thing that I love most about Black Mirror, is that they're doing things that are creative and that are taking risks and that haven't been done before. Like, I love it. TV is really a place where those things are happening even when they're not happening on film all the time. Obviously, there are a lot of creative things that have happened on film this year, but, you know. What's great about Black Mirror is how different episodes are appealing to different people. Yes, that's a good point. Yeah. Oh, dude, someone's asking if I'm excited for Isle of Dogs. I can't tell you how much I'm excited for Isle of Dogs. That's probably one of my most anticipated of the year, like up there with Infinity War. There's less screaming around Isle of Dogs. Like when I watch the Infinity War trailer, I'm like, oh my God, you know, Isle of Dogs, I'm just like, that looks good. But I'm so excited. It's going to be great. The cast, the animation, everything. Wes Anderson as a person making movies, that's a reason to get excited in itself, you know? But yeah. Well, I may log off here in a few minutes. I'll give it another 5 minutes or so. I don't know. Thoughts on Rick and Morty? It's good. I feel like after I watch Rick and Morty, it's so cynical and so, you know, deprived of virtues that, like, after I watch a Rick and Morty episode, I have to go and watch something like Stranger Things or Parks and Rec just to get my optimism back. But no, it is masterful storytelling. I mean, it's brilliant, the jokes and everything. Everything always has a point. Everything has a purpose. Season 3 isn't as great as the other two, but it's still good. So, you know. Most overrated movie? I mean, I can't say that. The most overrated movie of all time? That's kind of crazy to... That's a big scope, but I don't know. Wonder Woman's kind of overrated. That's this year. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to like pin something on movies. I don't like to make enemies that way. I watched Smallville a lot when I was a bit younger. I loved Smallville. Yeah. Are you doing a rewatch of the MCU for Infinity War? You know, man, I would like to, but I do not have time for that. And honestly, that time could be spent on me watching other movies that y'all are telling me to watch, like Good Time and Wind River and all these other movies that I've missed. So, like, that's the thing. Being a high schooler who is so busy with a schedule, when you have time to watch a movie, you have to, like, prioritize that time and go, all right, what movie do I really need to watch? Because, like, I would love to go and rewatch The Force Awakens right now. I love The Force Awakens. I mean, that's just a random example. But, like, if I was to go and watch a movie right now, I would want to watch something that I hadn't seen and that would be useful for my film criticism education, for lack of a better term, you know? Because, I mean, really, in all honesty, I love movies, and I feel like I'm pretty educated on movies, but there's still a lot I have to learn and a lot that I haven't seen, you know? And so when I have time to watch a movie, I want to watch one of those movies that is like vital to me having seen that I haven't and use that time wisely, you know. Ready Player One, I must say, does not look great. But I'm still crossing my fingers because Spielberg, you know? I mean, that's, you just kind of have to. Do you want to get more into production? Talked about this a little bit earlier, and yes, I would, definitely. Although it's unclear whether I want to kind of prioritize my time with film production or film criticism. It's kind of a toss-up, and I'm still kind of finding my way there, discovering what I'm most interested in and most passionate about. Because, I mean, really, that's what it comes down to, doesn't it? Like, whether I want to be a filmmaker or a film critic, it's got to be the one that I'm more passionate about. Because, like, you know, you're not going to be able to drive through life if you pick the one that you're least passionate about, you know? But, I mean, I'm passionate about both. So I feel like either way, if I go either way, I'll be happy, you know? Not that it's always about being happy. But, yeah. I'm sorry, some of y'all are asking these questions that are, like, really long, like they're a paragraph long, and, like, I'm looking at this on a phone, so I can't read that as it goes by. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm missing these longer things, because, like, it's going by too fast for me to read the whole thing. Have I seen the Lego Ninjago movie yet? Yeah, I watched it on the plane on the way back from LA, and it's fun. It's nowhere near as clever or as well-written or as unique as the Lego movie, but it's fun, and it made me laugh, and the animation is gorgeous. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is beautiful animation. It's better than the Lego movie. Like, that Lego animation just keeps getting better. But no, I mean, the plot is very by the books, so... Jack Attack is asking, why do you put your movies on your wall? Which he said he knows that people probably asked that earlier, and they did. I did that because it looks cool, and because of you're asking about it right now, which kind of proves that I think people notice it. That's kind of half the reason. Although that said, I talked about it earlier, it's a bit of a hassle because they tend to fall off the wall sometimes. Like the stickers that I use, they're Velcro. They don't always keep them on the wall, so it can be a little bit of a hassle to keep them up. But I think it's worth it because it just looks cool. People keep asking about my thoughts on Breaking Bad. Phenomenal. I mean, that is exemplary storytelling. Even like the thing I've noticed about Breaking Bad that kind of proves how great it is that you can talk about Breaking Bad with a film student or a filmmaker or a film critic, or you can talk about it with an average person who just likes to watch TV, and all of them will always agree that it is brilliantly written. And it's compelling and fascinating to watch and brilliantly acted. So that's sort of the way that it's universal. Like, universally, everyone goes, oh my gosh, it's so amazing. I think kind of proves how well written it is, that anyone can recognize it. You don't have to know about film, but if you do know about film, it's all the more amazing, you know? And that's not to say that, like, universal things are always the best, because the Transformers movies make the most money. We know that. But, I think there are exceptions for sure. Haven't seen the 2D animated Clone Wars cartoon. Haven't seen that. Just wanted to pass on that our film club loved Longbox Breakup. Awesome. I am so glad about that. That is so awesome. I'm really that's honestly the most meaningful comments about Longbox Breakup to me are the ones where people have said, your film inspired me to make my own films. That, I cannot tell you how much that means to me. Like, for real. That just blows my mind. Especially the idea that me, as a person who's still amateur and novice in making films, I need inspiration as well. You know, I'm still capable of inspiring people. And I think everyone is. And that's what's inspirational about it. There's kind of an inspireception here, where even people who still need to be inspired are capable of inspiring. And that's kind of mind-blowing to me. Favorite Doctor on Doctor Who? It's the 10th Doctor. It's definitely the 10th Doctor. Do you watch Ralph the Movie Maker? Yeah, I do. He's great. I disagree with him on a good amount of things, but I think he's a very, very talented filmmaker. Like that has shown in his short film King Candy is phenomenal filmmaking for a student film. And I mean, I think even in his reviews, I'm thinking of some of the ones like his Wonder Woman review. They just showcase how great a filmmaker he is, even in the little sketches that he does in between his review. You know, like it's really, really phenomenal stuff, and I think he's gonna go far. And it's been great to see his evolution over the years. You know, I was going back and looking at comments on my Longbox video on Longbox Breakup a few days ago because I hadn't checked them in quite some time. And he actually watched it. I had sent it to him, I had tweeted it to him, and Ralph watched Longbox Breakup. And his comment was basically saying, great job, and I think it'll be interesting to see where you go next or whatever. He had a few, you know, he said there's room for improvement here and there, and obviously there is. But yeah, it was a really encouraging comment, and I was just kind of, you know, struck by, oh wow, he watched, like that was just really inspiring to me that he watched the film. And I'm grateful for that. And again, I think he's very talented and he's going to go far. Even when I disagree with him, you know. Mad Max Fury Road or Stranger Things 2. That's a really weird comparison. But I gotta go Mad Max Fury Road for sure. I mean, that is, full disclosure, one of the greatest action movies ever made. And Stranger Things 2 is great, but it's, you know, it's got flaws, and it's not a masterpiece by any respect. I don't know why you would compare the two, though. They're so different. Please answer this. What is your point of view on each of the criticisms of MCU movies? Villains, stakes, comedy, etc. That's a big question. I think the criticisms of the villains are very valid. I mean, most of the MCU villains are very weak, and I don't like the idea that they're mirror images of the heroes, and I'm scared for Black Panther in that respect, because it looks like Michael B. Jordan's, what's his character's name? Like, is it like Golden Leopard or something? I'm probably getting that wrong. I mean, I know his character's name is Eric Killmonger, but, like, I think there's a lot of criticism. Oh, Golden Jaguar. Yeah, okay. So Golden Jaguar. That's my worry as far as Black Panther goes, is that they're going to go the route of, he's just a mirror image here of the hero. He's got the same costume, and they're just mirror images of each other. And that's what annoys me about some Marvel movie villains. And so many of them are a little bit underdeveloped. But I think they have been improving quite a bit recently. Ego was great. The Vulture was really great. I think he's maybe the best. After Loki, he might be the best. Loki's obviously great and charismatic. I was a little bit disappointed in Hela. That's what I'll say. People said she was a great villain. I thought she was just as generic as everybody else. But I think they're taking some strides to improve, and I have hope for Thanos. The other criticisms of the MCU, they vary. Some people say it's got too much humor. I don't know. I think that's what they are. They're these fun blockbusters. They're made to entertain people. So I can't say that all of them do. Like, if you were to say Spider-Man Homecoming has too much humor, no, it doesn't. It's a comedy. Of course it has humor, you know? I get the criticism with some that, like, the humor takes away from the emotional moments. But with others, I think it doesn't at all. Like, Guardians Volume 2 is the one that people peg that on a lot. They go, the humor crushes all the emotional moments. But, like, does it? Yondu's funeral has no humor, and there are a lot of legitimately, like, I cried in Guardians 2, and I rarely cry in movies, but, like, Guardians 2 moved me to my core. So I don't think that's got too much humor. I think humor can be an issue in MCU movies, but it's kind of what they are. So I'm not going to criticize them for what they are, you know. They are just fun blockbusters, and they live up to that name. They live up to that title. Nothing more, but nothing less, you know. Ben Shapiro has the worst thoughts on movies. Yes, he does. I'm sorry. And I follow Ben Shapiro on his political takes sometimes, because sometimes I agree, lots of times I disagree. It kind of depends. But no, his movie takes can be very, very, very wrong. I like the guy, though. I mean, yeah, I like him. Thank you for introducing me to The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. You are so very welcome. I'm so glad you watched it. I'm so glad you watched it. That makes me happy. I love it when people watch the things that I recommend and then it moves them. That's, like, really inspiring. Thoughts on Grace Randolph? I don't want to make enemies, okay? Like, again, I just said something about Ben Shapiro that was negative, and I don't want to, like, go and slander all these people on the internet. But I will say, I'm not a fan of Grace Randolph. I'm really not. That's all I'll say about it. I'm not a fan of her at all. So, yeah. What do you think of Marvel's Defenders? It was fun. It wasn't nearly as well written as Daredevil or as Jessica Jones. And in fact, I think Jessica Jones season 1, while it does drag a little bit, is probably my favorite of the Marvel Netflix series. Defenders is fun, and that's about it. I really enjoyed it, but I don't think it's nearly as good or well written. It's a lot more popcorn fare than any of the other ones. Like, Daredevil and Jessica Jones are brilliantly character-driven shows, but it's fine. You know, it's just a fun blockbuster show. So it's very much the Avengers of the Netflix shows. Although I love the Avengers, so. Thoughts on Super 8? I have the steelbook for that around here somewhere. I like Super 8 a lot. It's good. Yeah. I like the theory that it could be a Cloverfield movie. That's interesting to me. Didn't it have like an ARG or something associated with it? So that was cool. I mean, Bad Robot stuff is usually entertaining at least. J.J. Abrams does that mystery box thing so well, even though sometimes he relies too heavily on it to the point where there's no substance. There's just the, oh my gosh, what is this going to be thing. But it's fun. Have you seen The Adventures of Tintin? Yes, I have. That's so good. I love it. It's a little bit ridiculous in the third act. Like, there's some crazy, like, ridiculous CGI spectacle type stuff. I mean, the whole movie is CGI, but it gets a little absurd, where it was kind of grounded in the first 2 acts, and then it just goes berserk with, like, they're fighting using cranes and whatever. It's ridiculous, but I like it a lot. Favorite foreign film? It's Amelie. You see it back there? No, I'm blocking it with my head. There it is. Amelie is great. What movies have you seen in the cinema this year so far? That reminds me, I can't list them all, but I think I've seen like 70 or so movies in the cinema this year. Maybe you mean 2018. I'm sure you mean 2018. But so I was going to show you all this. This is a book that I have of all of the ticket stubs that I've ever gotten from a movie theater. Because I save each and every one. I have ticket stubs from all the way back in like 2012. Like there's The Hobbit right there. But let me show you. So I'm turning the pages here. So like, this is all the tickets from 2017 that I've kind of pasted into this book. And then there's 2018. I've seen 2 movies so far this year. But yeah. So that's, I don't know. Thought some people might find that interesting. You put your tickets in your Blu-rays. That's a good idea. Of course, there are some things that I see that then I will never buy on Blu-ray. Like, you know, so I don't know what I would do there, but that's a fun idea. would you prefer a sequel to Tintin to Indiana Jones 5? Yes, I think I would. I hate to say it, because I love Spielberg so much, and I think he's a brilliant filmmaker, and I can't wait for him to remake West Side Story. That's beyond exciting to me. But I must say, I really can't imagine a world where Indiana Jones 5 will be good or will live up to the originals. I just can't see it happening. I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll surprise me, and that would be great. But I don't know. I can't see it happening. So I would much prefer a Tintin sequel. What live-action Disney remake are you most excited for? That's an interesting question, because I've been very critical of these Disney live-action remakes. I enjoy Cinderella. I think that's the best one so far, but not a fan of the Beauty and the Beast one, because I don't think it adds anything to the original. I think you should just watch the animated film, and same goes for Jungle Book. Although I like Jungle Book better than Beauty and the Beast. It was entertaining, at least. So if the question is which of the live-action Disney movies am I most excited for, I will have to say whichever one ends up adding the most to the source material and being its own thing, rather than just being a remake of an animated film in live action. Like, I really, you know, you look at they're remaking The Lion King with CGI, and maybe that'll be good, but it seems like it's just going to be, let's just do the animated film using CGI, and it'll make money. I mean, that is the idea. It'll make money is the idea. So I'm more excited for something like Aladdin, which is being directed by Guy Ritchie, and I think has Will Smith as the genie, because that sounds like it's going to be something that's legitimately different and unique from the animated film, and will not just be a retread of the same ground. So it needs to justify its existence, is I guess the point I'm trying to make. I have no plans to watch 13 Reasons Why, unfortunately. Are you excited for Solo, a Star Wars story? I mean, it's hard to say without a trailer, and maybe the trailer, I'm sure, I mean, really, realistically, once we all see the trailer, we're all going to be like, oh, wow, amazing, it's going to be so good. But, I mean, I'll put it this way. If they wiped Han Solo from the release schedule right now, I wouldn't care. I really wouldn't. I would not care in the slightest. Now, people have said, I mean, the thing is, if it were still being directed by Lord and Miller, I would be all over it. Like, when they announced that was being directed by Lord and Miller, I was like, mind blown, this is going to be 22 Jump Street with Han Solo, you know, Lego movie directors and everything. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. That would have been amazing. And now I look back at the idea that this could have been a film directed by Lord and Miller, and I'm like, I can't believe we almost had that happen. Because now it sounds like a fantastical dream, you know? But, yeah, so it's a big disappointment that didn't pull through. I'm sure there will be people demanding their cut eventually. They'll be like, give us the Lord and Miller cut. Someone, I think, asked, would I rather see Cloverfield 3 or Han Solo movie? I'd much rather see Cloverfield 3. I mean, 10 Cloverfield Lane was one of my favorites of 2016. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for God Particle, for lack of a better word. Or it might be called Cloverfield Station, is what people are saying. I'm a lot more excited for that, especially having not seen anything from it than I am for Han Solo, when I haven't seen anything from that either, you know. Maybe Han Solo will surprise us, who's to say? Someone has written X-Men Apocalypse with question mark and exclamation point, which I guess is meant to ask, what do you think of it? And I'm not a fan. I adore Days of Future Past, but Apocalypse is just bitterly disappointing to me. What tips would you give for YouTubers with almost no subscribers? That's such a tough question, but I would just say keep at it, keep persisting, keep perfecting your craft. And once you start making content, like your content, no matter who you are, almost 100% of the time, when you look back at the content you were first posting, when you first started YouTube, you will go, this was trash. And it probably will be trash. But you have to get through that trash in order to make good things. Like, have you seen my first videos? They are appallingly bad, you know? But so I would say, really, that I think you just need to pull through, you need to persist, and keep going, and you'll eventually perfect your craft. But all right, I'm gonna, someone is home. Hello. No. No. This is a throwback to the days of, my first videos on Houston Productions 1, where my sister would invade my YouTube channel.
Mom asked what a live stream is.
Someone asked what a live stream is.
Mom.
This is quite memeable.
Can you open the door?
No.
Why?
Okay, I'm wrapping up the live stream.
The live stream.
The live stream.
SpongeBob meme. Live stream.
Okay. All right. So, see, that's the kind of real authentic stuff that we see on Blockbusted. If you listen to Blockbusted, you know that having my family invade my live stream is a very common thing. Although Blockbusted isn't a live stream, it's a recording. But like, there have been numerous occasions on the podcast where people have knocked on the door and been like, "When are you finishing?" But you know, I guess that's the authenticity. I don't know. All right. So people are asking about Blockbusted. That's coming back soon. Yeah. This is quite memeable, Houston Coley 2018. All right, so I think that's it. I've got a lot of homework to still do. This has really been quite a procrastination on my part, but I wanted to try it because it was Sunday night and I figured some people would be not busy. So I think this has been fun. Would y'all like to see more live streams in the future? And when, if so, would be the best day for you to watch a live stream, I guess, is my question. Weekends, Sunday nights again. See, that's what I'm thinking. Saturday, Friday. Yeah, so I mean, that's what you would think. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night kind of stuff. Friday night. See, we're all internet losers, so we stay at home on Friday night. That's kind of the... Okay, cool. All right, well, thank you guys for watching. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this up or not. Maybe I'll put it unlisted and link to it in a playlist or something. But yeah, thanks so much for the questions. This has been fun, and may do it again in the near future. All right, I'll see you guys later.